Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Did you know I have a Patreon? You can go over there and support the channel. Now onto the stories. Case file number 878, written by Gladwinner 8700. Harry Potter magic is real. About 5 years ago, a friend went to some Harry Potter thing. I think was maybe at Disney World or something of the sort. He brought me back some souvenirs, a Gryffindor keychain, a butterbeer mug, and a really cute feather quill pin. It was black and made out of rubber with a very fine point. I loved it, and I used it a lot in college. I've never seen another one like it anywhere. I have one of those little storage bins with 3 drawers that I keep all my junk in that I can't seem to part ways with. A portable junk drawer, if you will. I've moved twice since getting the pen and tossed it inside years ago. A few months ago, I decided to do some spring cleaning. I cleaned the junk drawer out and was so excited to see it again as I had forgotten all about it. I stuck it in a basket with my kitchen counter for easy access when I needed a pen. After the junk drawer cleaned out, I decided to go through some random bags of junk I had in my closet. I tend to stuff stuff in closets when I'm feeling lazy, and it kinda piles up in random Walmart bags. Well, I'm going through one and I find that same pen. I was very confused by this and thought maybe I had thrown it in the bag instead of on the kitchen counter, so I went to check, and there's the pen in the basket on the counter. There are 2 of them now. I swear I only ever had one, and I can't wrap my head around how I ended up with 2. It still freaks me out. Case notes for file 878, Harry Potter magic is real. I think DOP can be summarized as either disappearing object phenomena or duplicating object phenomena. They both can apply, and often they happen one after the other. I think the universe's code in storing items, objects, and so on isn't perfect. There may be items and objects that are meant to not disappear, but then when the universe understands that they did, they return it. However, it's not perfect. Sometimes it returns it incorrectly or duplicates it. And ultimately, it's just excitations of the various fields of life. Can you duplicate an excitation in a field? Sure. You just need enough energy. And I guess if you're coming from the real world, you have all the energy you need to do that. Seems like an error in duplication that was preceded by an error in de-rendering. And yeah, possible to duplicate items, but the one rule is you can't duplicate food. That's the wizarding rule. Sadly, I really wish you could. Get that spell to duplicate donuts, or just conjure them from nothing. I'd like that. Case file number 879, written by Lights On Nobody Home 91. Low frequency terror. My experiences began 10 years ago. I heard a weird sound that sounded sharp, almost like a jolting sound. It sounded like a trumpet or some kind of wind instrument. It was quick and sudden and sounded foreboding. I'll also mention I believe there were other beings here that were not human. I believe they were a small group of people who posed as humans. Then, as time went on, I began to believe they were more than half the population of the world. When I began to believe a friend of mine was one, I heard that sound. He showed a face that no human can make. Also, up till that time, I'd seen 3 others who showed strange faces. As well, when I lived on that street, moved there about 4 or 5 years before that sound happened, I'd hear a squeaking and squealing sound, like a swing set. After, it dawned on me that I'd heard it every single time I go outside, only in the backyard, so I noticed a trend. And I would sit outside on the back stoop for hours. It'd be constant, but I just ignored it. After some years, I began to search for the sound. I couldn't find it in the area that I'd heard it from. I looked all over the apartment complex and in the yards of people who lived in the houses. Their backyards were easily visible. Never found the swing set, and then the sound just stopped happening. Also, I'd even hear a loud bang of metal crashing down on the main road I lived near. I presumed it was happening at the place that had a good bit of used, broken down cars in the lot. I think they were in a garage, but there was a park across the street, no swing sets, in the opposite direction of the swing sets that I'd sit in at times. I never heard the loud banging, crashing sound there. Now, to the more recent sounds. There are absolutely no industrial places around here. They're all several miles away by the bay, shipyards. But on the 16th and 17th of November, I heard some strange sounds. It was around 11 a.m. Central Time when I heard it. It sounded like some repeated banging or like an explosion. Almost like a horn or a very, very loud sound of air escaping. It was a deep sound, almost like a tuba, but it sounded like banging. I don't know how to describe the sound precisely, maybe drums? It was happening for about 4 bangs, then it hit me that the sound shouldn't be coming from that direction. There are no places in this area that can produce a sound, so I began to pay attention, and it lasted for a few more bangs. Then yesterday, I was taking a shower at my mom's house while visiting her, and I heard a very loud rumbling sound. It was too deep in notes, like a bass sound, but it was rumbling. I've lived near trains and airports before, and it sounded very similar to a train being about 100 yards away or a plane flying low and directly overhead. But the nearest trains in the area are about 4 more miles off, and I never hear the trains in that direction. And I never feel the trains the way I did yesterday. Should also mention the loud rumbling from yesterday. If it was a plane, the plane would have to be less than a half mile above the ground and pretty much just hovering almost directly above my mom's house. Case notes for file 879, Low Frequency Terror. So the main issue with determining the source of a low frequency noise, a very deep sound, is that they tend to travel very far. They're kind of muddied sound, but they still travel far. They're kind of pressure waves in a sense. Whereas high frequency, they dissipate really quickly and they're easily blocked by walls and such. Of course, you have the very known hum, which only some people can hear and in some specific locations. Maybe related to gas lines, it's unclear. And then you have sky trumpets, which is another one that's even more eerie if you ask me. Some people speculate that it's related to the end times, that angels are playing their trumpets. I don't know about that, I hope not. But it could even be related to shifting tectonic plates and things like that. It's just strange that only some people are able to pick it up. Sensitivity to lower frequencies, I guess. Curious. Bonus file, written by Sabababa, Black Sheep, my friendly back-rubbing demon. I, female 18, honestly have no better way to put this. This happens quite often. Happened just a few moments ago, in fact. Sometimes, regardless of the time of day, I'll lay down on my bed. But then I start to feel 2 hands on my back rubbing me, and there is legitimate movement on my bed. Like an honest-to-God movement that is indistinguishable from if someone was actually there. This normally happens late at night, but has happened during the day before. I have no idea what this is. Funniest thing is, this thing rubs my back normally exactly where I need it to. If I have no pain, it just rubs generally. One late night of working on an art piece, I finished up the piece and my lower back was killing me because of how I was sitting. I groaned and touched my lower back before I jumped on my bed, on my stomach. You can guess what happens next. I start to feel a pair of hands rubbing my lower back. I'm shocked. I lay there for 15 minutes processing the fact no one was in the room but me, and I have never been in a relationship before, so I have never been given back rubs. But this back-rubbing demon sure helps. I'll be honest, I didn't know what to do, so I just said thank you to whatever was doing it. Either my brain is playing tricks on me, or I live with a back-rubbing demon. Either way, I'm thankful, so might as well make it known. Case notes for the bonus file. My friendly back-rubbing demon. I would guess this is not a demon. If it was a demon, indeed, it would be very friendly and strange, Imagine you're in the supernatural world and you just come out of hell, being tortured for 1,000 years. And then you decide, that was enough bad. Let's just go give some people back rubs that need it. I don't know about that. More likely it's just a lonely spirit or echo. Something that wants to connect and give back, I guess. And if you think about it, what is the best way to introduce yourself as being a spirit or echo? Something beyond the dimension that normal people occupy. Most people aren't going to be, open to that. They're not like us. They're just seeking out this kind of information that's abnormal. They just want a normal existence. So how do you reveal yourself when you don't know if the person's going to be receptive to that? Make their stress go away. It's not a bad call. Pretty smart, I'd say. I wouldn't mind having a back-rubbing spirit. You've reached the end of my thoughts for tonight. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe. I'll see y'all tomorrow.